Hello, my name is Eleanor Grace Whitmore, and I was born in a quiet seaside town in the south of England, a place where the air always smelled like salt and tea, and where the gulls screamed louder than the church bells on Sunday mornings. For 37 years, I lived in that town without ever truly noticing how much it shaped me. Now, as I sit by the window of my small London flat, watching the drizzle blur the city lights, I realize that I have become a shadow of that woman, a reflection caught in the glass, fading with every drop that slides down. People often say grief fades with time. I used to believe that too. But the truth is, grief doesn't fade, it simply changes its clothes. It hides behind smiles, behind the sound of boiling kettles, behind the meaningless chatter of daily life. Yet when the night grows quiet enough, when the air is heavy and the world seems to hold its breath, grief walks out again, barefoot, uninvited, familiar. I lost my husband, Daniel, 2 years ago. Even now, writing his name feels like reopening a wound that never healed right. He was 39, a teacher, a poet in secret, a man who could find laughter in the dullest days. He died on an ordinary Tuesday, the kind of day you wouldn't remember unless something extraordinary or terrible happened. I remember the weather though. It was raining, the same soft drizzle that England wears like a veil. He was driving home from school and a lorry skidded on the wet road. That's all they told me. That's all I was left with. I didn't cry at the funeral. Everyone waited for it, the tears, the trembling hands, the inevitable collapse. But I stood there, numb, staring at the wooden coffin as if it were a stranger. My mother held my arm, whispering that I should eat something, that I needed rest. I nodded, but inside everything was silent, the kind of silence that hums behind your ears and crawls down your bones. After Daniel's death, people drifted away one by one. Friends stopped calling. Neighbours avoided eye contact. My house became too big, too quiet. I sold it a year later, moved to London and took a job at a library, the kind of place where silence isn't suspicious. I liked shelving books, touching old paper, breathing in stories that didn't belong to me. Sometimes I imagined Daniel sitting at the end of the aisle, smiling at me through the dust motes. But when I looked again, he was never there. One evening, just before closing, a young man came in. He couldn't have been older than 25. His coat was soaked and his hair dripped onto the polished floor. "I'm sorry," he said. "Are you still open?" "Just about," I replied, glancing at the clock. "You've got 10 minutes. He smiled, the kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes. He walked straight to the poetry section, ran his fingers along the spines like he was greeting old friends. When he brought a book to the counter, I noticed it immediately. Collected Poems of Daniel Whitmore. My breath caught. That book wasn't meant to exist. Daniel's poems had been his secret. He wrote in notebooks, never showed anyone except me. After he died, I locked those notebooks in a drawer. I never published them. I never even typed them. Yet here it was, his name printed in gold letters. My hands trembled as I took it. "Where did you find this?" I asked, trying to sound calm. He looked at me puzzled. "I didn't find it. I bought it from a second-hand shop in Brighton." Brighton? Our hometown. My heart began to race. Can I see the inside?" He nodded and opened the first page. My handwriting stared back at me, my small, slanted notes in the margins. The book wasn't a publication. It was Daniel's notebook, the one I had lost when I moved. Somehow it had found its way into the world. I wanted to scream or run or beg him to leave it with me, but my voice broke before I could say anything. He looked at me curiously, then gently said, "You seem to know the author."
I swallowed hard. He was my husband. The boy froze. His expression shifted from confusion to guilt. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." He closed the book carefully and handed it back. "You should have it." I hesitated. "No, I can't." But he insisted. "It doesn't belong to anyone else." When he left, I sat there long after closing time, holding the book as if it were a living thing. Every page smelled faintly of home, of rain and ink and memory. That night, I stayed up reading until dawn. His words felt new and old at once, like he was speaking to me from somewhere I couldn't reach. On the last page, I found something I had never read before. A short poem written in pencil, dated a week before his death. "If you ever find this, know that I am not gone. I am the silence between raindrops, the warmth left in your empty cup. I am where you look when no one else is there." I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up to the faint sound of rain and the feeling that someone had whispered my name, "Eleanor." It was so soft I thought it might have been my imagination, but when I turned my head toward the window, I saw it. On the glass, drawn by an invisible hand, a single word written in the condensation. "Still." I froze. The street outside was empty, the lights flickering through the drizzle. My breath fogged the window, and the words slowly faded. Still. Was it real? Or just the mind's cruel trick? I didn't know. But that was the night everything changed. Since then, I began hearing things. Small things, like the sound of pages turning when the room was quiet, or the faint smell of Daniel's cologne on days I hadn't worn it for months. I told myself it was grief. That's what everyone says. The brain clings to ghosts when the heart can't let go. But part of me wondered, what if it wasn't my mind? What if Daniel had never really left? One rainy morning, I returned to the library early, before anyone else arrived. The door was unlocked. That was strange. I always locked it. Inside, everything was as I had left it, except for one thing. The poetry section. One book lay open on the floor, the same one the boy had returned. It was open to a new page. A page that hadn't been there before. When she finds me, the rain will stop. Until then, I wait between the drops. My knees weakened. I dropped to the floor, staring at the page, my heart pounding in my throat. Someone, or something, that shouldn't be able, was writing in Daniel's book.
I didn't go to work the next day. I couldn't. The book lay on my kitchen table, open to that impossible page. Every time I looked at it, the words seemed to shimmer. When she finds me, the rain will stop. What did that mean? Who was writing? I had no answers, only the echo of Daniel's voice in my memory, the way he used to read poems aloud in the dim light of our living room. By afternoon, the rain had not stopped. It hadn't even slowed. The weather forecast said a storm was coming, but I barely noticed. My world had already been flooded long before the first drop fell. That evening, I found myself walking toward the river, the same one Daniel loved, where he used to take photographs of the bridges at dusk. I don't remember deciding to go. My feet simply moved. London at night is a strange, beautiful creature, full of noise and silence all at once. The city lights flickered on wet pavement like broken stars. I stopped near Westminster Bridge, watching the water churn below. Then I saw it, a reflection. Not mine. Someone standing behind me. I turned sharply. No one, just the empty walkway and the rain. But on the railing, there was something small and familiar, a silver ring, half hidden under a leaf. Daniel's ring.
the one he lost months before the accident. I reached for it, my hands shaking. The moment I touched it, I heard it again, that soft whisper, close enough to feel on my neck. Eleanor. I dropped the ring and stumbled back. My heart was racing, my breath fogging in the cold. Daniel? I said, barely a whisper. Silence. Only the river, endless and indifferent. When I got home, the ring was somehow in my coat pocket. That night, I dreamed of him. He was sitting at our old kitchen table in Brighton, reading one of his poems. The air smelled of toast and rain. When I reached for him, he smiled and said, "You never finished my story." Then I woke up, tears on my face, the same poem open beside me. I tried to move on. I went back to the library, acted as if everything was normal, but strange things kept happening. Books rearranged themselves overnight. The lights flickered when I walked by the poetry aisle, and that same book, his book, was never where I left it. One afternoon, the young man returned, the same one who had found Daniel's notebook. His name, I learned, was Oliver. He came to return another book, but noticed my pale face and trembling hands. "Are you all right?" he asked. I hesitated. "I don't think so." He frowned. "You look like you've seen a ghost." I gave a weak smile. "Maybe I have." I told him everything. The pages that appeared, the writing, the ring, the voice. He didn't laugh or call me mad. He just listened, quiet and thoughtful. Finally, he said, "Maybe he's trying to tell you something you haven't faced yet." His words lingered with me. Something I haven't faced yet. That evening, I sat with the notebook again. I traced the edges, feeling the rough paper, the faint indentation of his handwriting. And then I noticed something new. A folded page near the back I had never seen before. It was sealed with wax. I hesitated, then broke it open. Inside was a letter. Not a poem this time. A letter addressed to me. "My dearest Eleanor, if you're reading this, it means the rain has outlasted me. I didn't tell you everything. I was sick, not in the way that could be seen, but the kind that grows quietly. I didn't want you to carry it with me. I thought I could spare you the worry, but I was wrong. I should have told you. Love, like poetry, doesn't survive on silence. I only hope that when you find this, you'll forgive me. Don't let the world grow smaller because of my absence. Live, even if it hurts. I'll be waiting in the quiet between raindrops. Always yours. Daniel." The words blurred through my tears. I pressed the page to my chest, sobbing until the candles burned low. He had known. He had chosen silence to protect me, and that silence had broken me instead. The next morning, the storm finally cleared. For the first time in months, sunlight touched the city. Weak, fragile, beautiful. I walked to the park near my flat, the air crisp and cold. The trees were bare and the grass still glistened with rain. I sat on a bench watching people pass, mothers with strollers, students laughing, an old man feeding pigeons. Life moved, indifferent to grief. Then a child ran by, chasing a paper boat along a puddle. I followed it with my eyes as it drifted to a small stream. On the side of the boat, written in childish letters, was one word: still. I froze. The same word that had appeared on my window. I looked around, searching for the boy's face, but he was gone. The boat floated away, vanishing into the water. And in that strange, impossible moment, I felt something lift inside me. A lightness, a quiet understanding. Maybe Daniel wasn't haunting me. Maybe he was guiding me. That evening, I returned to the library one last time. I placed Daniel's notebook on the shelf where it had first been found. In its place, I left a note. For those who have loved and lost, may you find the silence between raindrops. Then I turned off the lights and walked out. As I stepped into the street, it began to rain again. Softly, gently, the way it always had. But this time, I didn't hide from it. I let the rain fall on my face, washing away everything I had carried for so long. I whispered into the wind, "Goodbye, my love." And for a moment, just a moment, I swore I felt his hand in mine. Years have passed since then. I live by the sea again now, in a small cottage filled with books and quiet mornings. I still work at a library, though a smaller one. Sometimes, when it rains, I make tea and open Daniel's book, the one that somehow found its way back to me. The pages never change anymore. No new writing, no whispers, just words and memories and peace. But every so often, when the world grows still, I catch a faint reflection in the window. A man's outline, smiling softly, and I know he kept his promise. He is the silence between raindrops.